Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, the 13th of February. I just realized that it is Friday the 13th of February. Oh my goodness. What a coincidence. Anywho, good morning to everyone that is hopping on and watching. If you're catching us on the replay, thank you so much for watching. And I would love it if you would just drop a comment, even if it just says replay, just so I know that you're hanging out with us and that you're taking an interest in what we're doing here at the Yarn Garden. Good morning, Jeannie. You are commenter number 1. Congratulations, you have taken back your title. Good morning, Kendra. Hello, Tracy. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you guys here. It is a beautiful day here in mid-Michigan. The sun is shining. We are supposed to be warmer than 30 degrees, and I've actually seen 50 degrees in the forecast. Shh, don't spook it. Don't scare it away. But as I keep telling my girls, it's still February. It is still February. So we can't get our hopes up. Natalie's knocking on wood over at the table. Because it is still February. So we will enjoy this for what it is, which is a little sneak peek, but we are not going to get our hopes up that this is the end. Now, because what we're going to do is we're going to get warm and we're going to melt all the yucky snow and old ice and all the dangerous stuff. We're going to get that melted and out of the way, and then we're going to get fresh snow on to make it all beautiful again. So if I go into it with that thought process, then it makes it better if we don't, right? If we don't get that new snow cover. Oh, good morning. Hello, Cindy, Jillian, Kathy, Karen, Sunny. Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. As I said at the beginning, I am Lindsay Potter. I've apparently forgot my last name. I am Lindsay Potter, head gardener of the Yarn Garden in Charlotte, Michigan. Why, thank you, Celeste. You can absolutely bet that I'm going to be chatting about the cowl that I am wearing today, so hang tight, and you know you're going to be hearing about it. So most definitely hang on for a little bit. Good morning. Hi, Lucy. Good morning. Good morning. So I have some new yarn from BERROCO that I'm excited to share with you guys, as well as some new colors of some existing favorites. So I'm excited to get that started for you guys. Good morning, Beth, and good morning, Barbara. Thank you for joining us. I am thrilled to share that I have a couple of finished objects to show off. So there'll be a little bit of bingo chatter also, because it is Finish Object February. And so we like to go through and show off or finish some of our whips in progress. So yes, that's right. Jillian is saying, at least this time of year, the snow does not last as long. You're right. That is true. That there is somewhat of an end in sight, although it's still only February and it's not even halfway done yet. Good morning, Mona. Hello, Rachel. Happy Galentine's to you. Hello, Mom. She says, good morning. It's raining. Well, neener. You finally have some yucky weather out there in Arizona compared to us when we actually have some sunshine. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Roberta. Excellent to see everyone. And again, like I said at the beginning, if you're catching us on replay, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. And hey, if you're catching us over on YouTube, thank you for following us over on YouTube. I'm excited to build that channel and continue to add videos and things there as well. So I am excited to get this video rolling. So with that, I think I just have to take out exactly what I just knitted because I forgot to decrease on the gusset, although perhaps I will not worry about it. I think I was supposed to decrease on that row and I was just chatting away and forgot. So we will have to make that decision whether or not to rip that out or just decrease on the next row. That's probably what I will do. But anywho, this is Natalie's second sock. This is my February sock. So it's no further than you saw last week because I have been working hard on finishing up a few other things. So let's take a look at what else I have been working on. Hello, Jana and Scarlett. I hope you guys have been working on some bingo squares also. Let's see. Carol says it's warm and sunny. Rachel says the sun has truly been a seasonal depression lifesaver the past 2 days. Yes, agreed. We actually got to go have pedicures done last Saturday for my girls' birthday. Bear with me, this does have bearing on your comment, Rachel. And while we were picking out colors for our toenail polish, I decided to go with a super bright neon corally pinkish orange and decided that was my seasonal affective disorder cure for that. So absolutely love that. Oh, thank you, Rachel. She says, I absolutely love the neons in that yarn. Beautiful socks. I am envious of Natalie. Yes, they are lovely, aren't they? Yes, agreed. Good morning, Dana. Good morning, Emma. Okay, so I have made a grave error in my bingo lack of planning. So, you know, the whole object of Finish Object February is to finish up lingering whips that have been in your whip pile, right? Either for the last year if you've played bingo before or just in general. Well, as a general rule in things that, as a general rule, I don't like really pre-plan things out very far. And especially, you know, I like bingo to be fun. I don't like the high pressure of feeling like I have to do something. So this is my bingo square, my bingo card. And as you can see, it is not filled out at all. I have no plan whatsoever. There was no sticky notes with anything written on there. Like, I have zero plan. So I made the grave error of casting on at least 2 new projects rather than trying to focus on my finished objects. Oops. So I cast on a hat for because I wanted to make sure I got my, finish a kit. I wanted to make sure I checked off my finish a kit box. And so I cast on a new project so that I would finish a kit. Tell me how that makes any sense when I'm trying to finish up whips. I mean, technically, once I cast on, it is a whip. So, okay, it is a whip. But why did I think I needed to cast on something? Anyway, so that was my goal, was to finish a kit. Well, that's as far as I've gotten. I wanted to finish a cowl. So I actually had all of my cowls were current. I had everything finished that I could find, with one exception. I have my Nandad gnome that was from December's Advent with Imagined Landscapes. So I had that I could have checked off for my Finish a Cal project. But I decided I wanted to take part in Marley Bird's game day make-along. So that is what I decided to go ahead and do. I decided that I wanted to try out Marley's game day mystery. My friend Teresa has participated in it for several years now, and I love the idea. So Marley Bird, and I shared this last week, so forgive me if this is old information, but so a quick synopsis. On Super Bowl Sunday, she has designed a knit project and a crochet project, along with another designer, Robin. And every couple of hours, they release a new clue for that day's project. So I thought, oh, well, I can finish the cowl, maybe not in one day, because I had birthday celebrations to attend to that day, but at least over a couple of days, I would be able to finish it. So I decided to participate in that. Lo and behold, I didn't actually get it finished until Wednesday night. So it took me more time than I expected to finish the game day project, which I'm going to show off here. But again, that was cast on, not a current whip in my pile. So yes, I see you guys are suggesting that I can start and finish a new project. Most definitely that will happen. But you know, still the object here for me is to finish up my works in progress, not start new projects. So then the Olympics started, and so that was Friday night, the opening ceremony, so I had to cast on a new project so I could get my start and finish project during the Olympics square. Okay, so count with me. That is 3 new cast on projects that I have cast on to start during Finish Object February. So this is what happens, my friends, when you just have no plan and you just start going willy-nilly. So let me share with you at least the progress that I have made on those projects. Okay, so you already saw, this is my Callisto hat. It is a million miles of 1x1 ribbing. That is not my favorite thing to knit, but it is good knitting for social setting, so that's fine. I can do that. My Olympic project is I'm re-knitting my Prickly Thorns cowl. So this is competitive sole that I am knitting into my Prickly Thorns cowl, and I love how the competitive sole, the color, is working up in how it's pooling. I think it's really cool. So again, this is competitive sole. This is my Olympic project, so I cast on during the opening ceremonies, and I have been working on it a little bit throughout watching the Olympics. So again, that's competitive sole, and there we go. So that is as far as I've gotten. I have to do all of that garter stitch for 10 inches before I get to do anything else. So that was cast on and started. So there we have that. You saw my sock, my February sock hasn't gotten any further than you saw last week. And in fact, I may have to reverse what I just did while I was talking with you guys. Okay, so let's talk about, I did finish 2 things. I have finished 2 things. And I'm laughing at your comments. Jeannie says I have a plan and it includes several cast-ons. Thank you, Maggie. Cindy says, oh, I've cast on so many projects for Finish Object February, but also finishing whips. And Barbara's sharing that she loves the pooling, but hers is not doing that. Yeah, and you know, it depends on the project, and it will depend on the batch. From batch to batch, how things are going to work. Depends on gauge. So it really just depends on a lot of different factors on whether the yarn's going to do that or not. Kingsley, Ninny heard you squeaking your toy. Sunny's sharing that she has cast on 4. Okay, I get it. And of course, I made those choices, right, to cast on and start new projects. But again, the whole idea here is to finish up things, not start new things to finish. For me, that's what I want to get out of bingo. So again, this is a result of me not pre-planning ahead and just going crazy. So anyway, let me share my finished objects with you guys. First one is the this is the Night and Day cowl. This is the Night and Day cowl from Andrea Mowry. I used Cozy from Kelborn Woolens. Dark teal and camel, I believe, are the colors. But I want to take it off so you guys can see it. So you might recall that I had finished this, the knitting of this last month, but I did not block it and I did not sew it together until this month. So this I may check off the, let's see, block something and sew something. Maybe. This cowl might get me a couple of things. So again, I just blocked it at the beginning of February and I have seamed it together. I did, however, learn something new when I seamed this together. So this may count, instead of sewing something, this may count as my learn something new. So Andrea has this really cool technique for seaming together the back of her cowls that are all this kind of shape they look like home plate in baseball or softball. So she has this really nifty technique where you preserve the I-cord on the one edge, and it has to do with how you seam it together. So that may be my learn something new because I've never done something like that before. I've just always done a regular mattress stitch to seam together something, but I think it makes a really beautiful, seam. So it's not trying to hide, you're not trying to disguise it as something that's not there. It really maximizes the thing that we, you know, we had to make a seam here. So it makes it obvious that we had something to do here. So I think it's beautiful and I love it. So that may be my learn something new. We shall see. We shall see if that stays true. Kendra says, willy-nilly over here as well. I just have a Post-it note that shows what I'm finishing so I can decide which boxes to fill in later. All right, team willy-nilly. Kendra and I are on it. Raise your hand if you want to join us because it's fun. So that is, again, my finished object. I finished sewing that together last night, actually. So that is going to count for 2 things. I'm just not sure what 2 things yet. Thank you, Jean. All right, so I did finish the Game Day Mystery Knit Along, and it is this adorable little hooded cowl. So I'm gonna put it on, and I really wish that I would have had this on those days when it was like negative a million degrees outside, because it would have been it is so warm. So you can wear it down like this. So it's a nice little cowl. You can tighten it up. So it's really nice and tight. Get my hair out of the way here. So it's really nice and cozy. Or if you're outside walking the dog because he insisted on hitting the outside button a million times until you took him outside, or maybe that's just our dog because I taught him that. Every time he does it, I'm like, that was a terrible idea. So you can put your hood up, and then you can tighten that cowl part down, and you look at that. You've got a nice warm cowl hood that you can tuck your coat into your coat, and check that out. You are warm and cozy and ready to go. So there we go. This was my Game Day cowl, Game Day hood. Actually, she called it something different. I'm gonna look it up here. All right, so you can just wear it like that too. And then you can tie a cute little bow. Thank you, Cindy. Amy sharing, I love your 9-day cowls. I tried and hated mine. Oh, try it again. Yeah, pick different colors. Absolutely pick different colors. Oh, well, thank you, Cole. He said that the hood is so cute. I love it. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's kind of like a balaclava. Absolutely. Although I think balaclavas are also meant to cover up like your nose and mouth as well. And I think we probably could like pull the ribbing part up and make it warmer that way. I just haven't messed around with it a whole lot. But there we go. So it is, I'm just grabbing my tablet here so I can share with you. Marley did put it up on Ravelry. Excuse me. I did create a project for it, but I haven't put any pictures on there yet. So bear with me one second while I get us over to what Marley called this. What did she, oh, Cozy Sideline. It is called the Cozy Sideline by Marley Bird. So you can absolutely jump in on the make along if you still want to. You can still make it. Was not only exclusive for Super Bowl Sunday. So again, it's called the Cozy Sideline. Cozy Sideline. So it is done with 2 strands of a self-striping yarn. So because this was a mystery, there we go. Because this was a mystery and I didn't know, had no idea what it was other than a winter accessory. And sometimes I like to use up my stash. I just went into my Noro stash and I found all the leftovers that I had of Akari, which was actually quite a bit. So this is done with 2 different colors of Akari. So let me pull that back up again so you can see. I love how that marled fabric works up. I think it's so pretty when you use a self-striping yarn like that. So again, 2 strands of Akari. I did weigh it, the hood, the finished hood, before the video today, and it weighs 217 grams. Akari is sold, I know, Jason's laughing because he knows what that means. Akari is sold in 200 gram balls. So that means that 1 ball would probably not be quite sufficient. However, there is a little bit of a qualifier here. My drawstring I made out of Kelborn woolens, out of Germantown. So I don't know how much this weighs. So that is contributing to the weight. And theoretically, this drawstring casing, so the drawstrings are running all the way through this whole thing. So theoretically, one could pick up and knit this in a different yarn. Like I could have used my Germantown for the edging here as well. If you didn't want to buy a whole another 200-gram ball of Akari, I think you could probably fudge things enough. Maybe do one less row of ribbing down here, do a little bit shorter here, and you might be able to squeak it by with one ball of Akari. But just keep that in mind. It's gonna be really close, really close. So yes, that is what I have used as Akari. Thank you, Jean. It felt really good. Really good. And actually, one of the colorways was a color of Akari that I really don't like. I started knitting it and I did not like it. So by combining it with a different color of Akari, I ended up really appreciating and liking it a lot better. I liked it a lot better. Let's see, Rachel's asking, if you had to estimate, what would you say the percentage split is between how much you knit and how much you crochet? Oh, it's probably like 90% knit and 10% crochet, I would say, probably. I don't crochet a ton. I probably have a crochet project that I work on 3 or 4 times a year, maybe. Yeah. Although I do, like when I knit shelf samples, swatches for the shelf, I do make sure I do a knit swatch and a crochet swatch, and you'll see that here shortly. But that's a good question, Rachel. Great question. Okay, so that was the second thing that I finished this week. So that's going to count for my finish a cowl, and I don't know what else. Maybe cowl and scarf. I don't know, but at least the finish a cowl for sure. Maybe. Well, anyway, weave in ends because I had to weave in the ends. So we'll see. Oh, Jeannie guessed. She guessed 80-20. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think I do know that I knit far more than I do crochet. Absolutely. Okay, so that is the cowl hood. All right, and then last but not least, I wanted to share with you during the frog party last Saturday, I ripped out some sort of shawl-y scarf, looked like it was going to be a triangle thing that I was using yukata. This is another Noro yarn that was discontinued. So I knew that I was never going to get the yarn back in again. I didn't want to finish the project. It was too big to finish to not be able to sell the yarn for. So out it went and rewound into a very pretty ball of stash yarn now. And then the other thing I took apart is the Marguerite blanket. So there was a group of my friends last year that decided they wanted to crochet this really beautiful Afghan, and it was gorgeous. And I got really jealous of what they were creating, and I wanted to make one too. I definitely came down with a case of FOMO. So I picked out my colors. I pre-planned this beautiful Afghan. I was going to make it a little bit smaller and make it more like a baby blanket. And then I got started and discovered that I actually really, really dislike crocheting with 2 colors. So this is the main motif from the Marguerite blanket. And so, yeah, I decided that this is not for me. I do not enjoy the 2-color crochet. And why did I think I wanted to make an Afghan? I don't like to make Afghans in general. I don't like to knit them. I don't like to crochet them. So I definitely was influenced by my friends. And anyway, I decided it was never going to be finished. So now I have these 4 very cool circular motifs that I will probably sew together maybe and make them like little purses or make them into little pillows. One of those 2 things. We'll see what the girls say. Maybe they might want to have one of those items.
I think they would be pillows because that reminds me of something my grandmother had when I was a small child on her couch.
Oh, so Jason is voting for pillows because they remind him of his grandma's couch. Okay, there we go. So we may make them into pillows. So that will get me, for sure, the alter or change a pattern square if I decide to go that route and make it there. So I really do need to sit down and like at least pencil in what I could achieve here, so I can, like, you know, strategize a little bit. Good morning, Kathy. Let's see. Crystal says, I don't have a lot of whips, so I try to use stash yarn for my projects. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good way to participate. I like it. Rachel says, weaving in ends for a multicolored crochet project is truly the bane of my existence. Let me tell you, yes. And as I was sitting down during the frog party on Saturday, and I was trying to take these 4 pieces apart because they were assembled into, they were all connected. I was cursing past Lindsay because she had the audacity to weave in her ends as she went. So in order to take those apart, I had to find the ends that I very carefully wove in. Thank you, past Lindsay. And so, yes, I was not very happy with my past self for doing that because it made ripping it out much, much harder. But I do usually advocate for weaving in ends as you go because it does make the end finishing much easier. That is true. However, unless you decide to rip out. So, yes. Good morning, Betty. All right. So, yes, that's what I've been up to this week as far as bingo goes and projects go. We had a busy weekend celebrating birthdays, and so I didn't get as much done as, you know, we ever planned to, right? So hopefully we get there. We get something that was already a whip before Finish Object February actually finished. So we shall see. Anna, I know. She says, how dare past Lindsay. Right? I know it. I know. Okay, how are we doing on time? Oh, it's not even 11:30 yet. All right. So let's talk about the new yarn first. Let's talk about the new yarn first, and then I'll show off the other things. No, I take that back. We're gonna show off the non-wool things first, and then we'll come back to the new wool. All right, so I got back in stock the Math for Knitters book from Kate Atherley. So I sold out of the first shipment of this really quickly, which I was so happy about. I was so glad that so many of you were intrigued by the title Math for Knitters, because I'll be honest, I was afraid that the title might turn off a lot of people because it has the word math in the title. And a lot of times math is a 4-letter curse word when it comes to a creative process, right? So I was thrilled when this first batch sold out. So I went ahead and ordered more. So if you didn't get your copy of Math for Knitters, make sure that you grab it. Now it is a featured item on our homepage, which is yarngardenmichigan.com. Scroll down a little bit and you'll see, I think it's 8 different featured items that we try and rotate depending on what's going on in the shop. So again, this is called Math for Knitters by Kate Atherley. The book is $24.95, and it does say Math for Knitters. However, I think a lot of the information is applicable to all yarn consumers, whether you are a knitter or a crocheter. For instance, they talk about how to pick out, how to get yarn, how to pick out yarn, how to calculate how much yarn you need. They talk a lot about gauge, which I think is still applicable. You know, crocheters, you have to know what your gauge is too in order to make sure something is going to fit. Let's see, pattern reading. I have a lot of people that ask me, can you teach me how to read a pattern? So this is going to be a good reference for you. One of the things that I really appreciate, this will tell you how to evenly increase or decrease. You know, sometimes the pattern will just say increase 6 stitches evenly across your row, and we're not sure how to fill that out. Sometimes, let's see, another section is repeats within rows and repeats of rows. So a pattern might tell you work 6 repeats of this 5-row repeat pattern, and then while at the same time on this other side do 6 repeats of this 4-row repeat. So this will help you kind of like untangle that in your brain. It talks about converting for a different gauge. So if you really love the fabric that you're making, but the gauge doesn't match the designer's, Kate walks you through how to convert that. So all sorts of really cool bits of information in here. So it's a great reference book. Again, it's not a pattern book. There are no designs in here, but it will help you with all of those designs and patterns that you already own. Let's see, Sunny is sharing that she got out a sweater that she made many years ago that she loves. The yarn and the pattern, but it was pure alpaca and the sleeves had grown. I needed to shorten 6 inches, but they were knit bottom up and done in cables and seed stitch. Woo! What a challenge to unravel, but I did, and now the sleeves are the perfect length and the cuffs are nice and tight. Excellent. That is wonderful. So you get to check off your alter or change a pattern for that one for sure. Jeannie says, I dislike math, but it's a great book. I like that you said dislike instead of hate. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Jamie, you're right. I could check out the time on my new clock behind me, but I forgot that it was there. So yes, you are absolutely right. I could look at the clock behind me and see what time it is. So Math for Knitters back in stock. While I was reordering that, this other really cute, adorable book caught my eye, and I decided that I wanted a copy. And if I wanted a copy, probably there were some of you out there that might want one too. So this is by Raleigh Briggs, called Fix Your Clothes, The Sustainable Magic of Mending, Patching, and Darning. What I really love about this book, it's $6.95, so it's a cute little quick purchase, but it's hand illustrated and handwritten. So it really feels like you're having a conversation with the author here. She has hand illustrated tips and tricks for all sorts of things. So like here she is sewing on a button. So Kendra, if you haven't put your button on yet and you need help, this is a cute little book to help give you a jump start. So this talks about supplies that you might need, quick fixes, basic knots and stitches, buttons, mending seams, patching holes, darning holes, hemming, fixing a zipper, waterproofing, and then sewing and mending resources. I need to look at that waterproofing. I'm intrigued by what that would look like, but that's the index. Isn't it cute? It does look like a graphic novel, so I think it's adorable. Oh, did I say the Canada price? I did.
You did.
I'm sorry. The Math for Knitters book is $19.95. Oh, I see. So these are this was printed in Canada, so they have the Canadian price first. I did not use my eyeballs very well there. The Math for Knitters book is $19.95. Thank you. Thank you, Potter. Kendra says I can't find my sewing kit with the good thread. Well, you were waiting for this book. And then maybe you need to go down to the hen house and get some good thread. Did I do the right one? Yeah, $6.95. I did it right that time. So anywho, a cute little reference book if you are interested in fixing your clothes. Mending, patching, and darning. So again, I think this is also still featured, Jason?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's also featured right along with the Math for Knitters book. So there we go. All right, so let's talk about a cute little project that Mr. Potter has been up to this week. He created this cute little keychain that is cut out in the shape of the Lower Peninsula, has our shortened Yarn Garden logo on one side, and then on the other side has the cute little compass, and it says directions to my favorite LYS. And there's a star where Charlotte is, where the Yarn Garden is, and a little road with a cute little car. So Jason has worked on these cute little bag tag or keychain. So you will always have directions on how to get back to your favorite local yarn store. So is that a featured item? Smells good. No, it's not a featured item? No. Is it going to be a featured item? No. No. Oh, so it's a treasure hunt. A treasure hunt on the website to find the bag tag.
If you just search bag tag, you'll
bag tag. It's under our bag tags, and you'd be able to find the cute little keychain that Jason has whipped up for us. All right, so let's talk now about. Okay, I'm gonna save the new yarn for the end. I know I said I wasn't gonna, but I am gonna. I know Nat's giving me the shocked face. We'll go quickly through the new colors of existing yarns. So the first one Vintage Baby from BERROCO has been a super popular yarn for kiddos ever since it came in, ever since it came out. So Vintage Baby is 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. Super machine washable and dryable, so easy care for moms with babies. Or if you want a nice DK weight a yarn that's going to be easy care, BERROCO is doing a really great job coming out with a nice color palette that is not super childish. The initial palette was pretty babyish and kid-like, but they're really working on coming up with some really great colors that can go any age. So I have 3 of 6 new colors. The other 3 should be here beginning of March-ish. So first up, let's take a look at Ballet Slipper. Ballet Slipper. So again, as I said, this is a DK weight yarn. It's $5.95 a ball. And we have, there's a million colors, and we generally try to have all of them in stock. So this is a yarn that we try to keep all colors in stock of. So recommended gauge is 22 stitches to 4 inches on US 6. So that is Vintage Baby. Again, it's a acrylic, wool, and nylon blend. So super washable. See, Karen says, I made a top for myself in hot pink. Yes, you did, and it was beautiful. So yes, it is originally, of course, intended for baby and kid knits, but of course, it's a great all-around DK weight yarn. This is another new shade of blue called Azure. I'm never sure if I'm saying that right. Azure? Azure? I don't know. Azure? Anyway, this is a beautiful kind of blue that just has a little tint. It's a little push towards the green side of the pie wedge. So that is Azure, I think is how you say that word. And then I can't believe they didn't have this color already in their lineup, but they did not. BERROCO is calling this color Horizon Blue. Horizon Blue. Thank you, Jenny. This is a 50-gram ball, and it is 145 yards. So a 50-gram ball, most of the yarns that we carry are 100 grams or bigger, but Vintage Baby comes in a 50-gram skein. So of course, great for baby things because you don't need very much, but also if you're wanting to do color work, if you're wanting to do stripes of some kind, this is great because it doesn't have, see, it's not as big, right? So again, 50-gram ball, 145 yards. It is $5.95 a ball.
And we have 34 color options in stock.
Jason is just sharing because he loves numbers and he's kind of a nerd. 34 colors in stock right now. 34 colors. That's a lot. That's a lot of color options right there. All right. So there we go. Vintage Baby. And now let's take a look at another new, this is not a new yarn. This was new maybe 2 seasons ago.
Have a good day. Have a good weekend.
This is Tilly from BERROCO. This is Tilly from BERROCO. And every time I get this yarn in, I say that I am going to make a summer top of some kind out of this yarn because I love it. And the last 2 years have gone by and I have not done that yet. So this is the year I am declaring it. I am going to make a summer top. I am Natalie Jewel, don't give me that. I am going to make a summer top out of Tilly. I don't know which one yet, although there's a contender for what it will be. But I have 4 new colors that I want to share with you. And then we'll take a quick peek at other colors that I have in stock. So Tilly is a blend of 62% Pima cotton and 38% Supro. And again, I don't know if it's Supro or Cupro, but it starts with a C. C-U-P-R-O. So this is a relatively new fiber on the market, and it is actually a byproduct from the cotton process. So technically the origin of the fibers for Tilly is all cotton, but they are detailing that there is a difference of 62% Pima cotton and 38% Cupro. It is 100-gram skein, 375 yards, with a knitting gauge of 23 to 24 stitches, using a 5 to a 7 needle. And for my crocheters, they're recommending 22 single crochets to 4 inches using a G or 4mm crochet hook. So they're classifying this as DK. I suspect you probably could go sport weight to DK weight with this beautiful yarn. And it is a chainette construction. I know that never really comes across very well in the camera, but it is a chainette construction, which is how they can cram, BERROCO can cram so many yards in 100 grams of a cotton because it is that chainette construction, so it makes it really light. So this is a cotton yarn, cotton-based fiber, right? But it is going to knit into a fabric that is really light and beautiful. So let me show you a couple of swatches so you can see how these colors knit up. So they knit up in kind of a tonal sort of watercolor highs and lows of the same value or the same color. So lights and darks of the same color. So that is a little knit swatch of one of these brilliant orange colors. And then here is my single crochet swatch. So as I was saying earlier, Rachel, you were asking about how much I knit and how much I crochet. I do try when I make swatches for the shelf to have at least a stockinette stitch knit swatch and a single crochet crocheted swatch. So both crafters can get a sense of how your fabric is going to look and how it's going to feel. So that is something that I do try to do for both craft genres, is at least a swatch in each. The other sample that I have here is this gorgeous wrap. This is a crocheted sample, and let me grab the tag here. It is called Castle, spelled K-A-S-S-E-L, Castle, and it takes 3 hanks, and they are using a 4.5 millimeter hook. So there you have it, and it has this beautiful fringe down at the bottom, and you can just see how beautifully this drapes. And just as a reminder, this is crocheted, and typically a crocheted fiber is going to be a little denser, and so that means it wouldn't have usually as much drape as a knit fabric would. So even with a denser stitch, look at how beautifully that drapes. So I think a summer top in this would be beautiful and amazing. So I am going to make a summer top out of Tilly. It will be knit, but I, again, haven't nailed down any other details as far as color or anything. But there we have both options, both beautiful colors to share. Anna, I agree that orange is so beautiful. Rachel says it's appreciated that you do both because sometimes yarn looks vastly different. Oh, for sure. Absolutely, Rachel, I agree. So you might have noticed, I forgot to point this out, in this wrap that the yarn looks a little bit different than my little swatches. The original Tilly, when it came out, was actually kind of speckled looking with black throughout. So let me show you what the skein looks like. So this is the color that was used in that crocheted wrap. This is called El Gadao, or something along that line. This is one of the original colors of Tilly. So you can see how it still has the highs and low values of the same color, but it has little speckles of black in there. So when these, let me show you these. So these were already existing colors. So you can see how these have that little bit of a shadow to it, those little bit of a shadow colors to it. So that will knit up with just that little bit of variation in it. Versus these gorgeous colors. So this is that hot orange that you saw called Cinnabar. This is called Cinnabar. Is gorgeous. Love it. So that was the color of my swatches. Oh, this is the one I wanted to grab. So this is the newer version of how the colors are coming versus the color that has that little bit of black speckle in it. So you can see the difference there. You can see the difference there. This is called Celtic Blue. Celtic Blue, so you can see those highs and lows on the Celtic Blue. Here's a few of the other existing colors. Beautiful shade of green. I love that purple. And this is the color that I'm really leaning towards using for my top. This is called Strawberry. This is called Strawberry, and I love it. Even though the last summer top I finished is in a coral color, I also love this one as well. I can't decide. So those are the existing colors and styles of Tilly. So these are the 4 new colors. I already shared, this is cumin. Tilly is $24.95 a ball. A hank, excuse me, they come in these hanks. And again, 23 to 24 stitches to 4 inches on a 5 to a 7, and 22 single crochets on a G or 4 millimeter hook for my crochet friends. So again, these are still going to have those highs and lows of the value, so a little bit of kind of a watercolor look. So again, that is cumin. This is grayish. This is grayish, so a beautiful neutral shade of color called grayish. This lovely Nantucket blue. Nantucket blue. And then finally we have slate. Finally we have slate. So here are the 4 colors together. Actually a really beautiful subdued kind of color palette. And I think that it is beautiful with several of the other existing colors. Like this one, this is cream. And I even think this kind of sagey green could go in here. This is called jade. I think jade could go in here, and I don't know what one would make with it, but I think it's beautiful. This beautiful, beautiful color palette. Yeah, hang on, Celeste. Let me set those down. Celeste is requesting the orange and strawberry. So cinnabar and strawberry together. There you can see those together. And of course, as always, with any of these warm colors that are really vibrant in a camera, they are flaring quite a bit. So these look a lot more neon, I think, to the camera than they are in person, although they are bright and very pretty in person also. So there you have the beautiful colors of Tilly. So I want to share with you, there are a few new patterns that BERROCO is designing for Tilly. This adorable crocheted granny square. Let's see. A groovy take on granny squares. Palmesse takes straightforward motifs and creates a breezy, versatile layer you reach for again and again. Easy to make. Take on the go as you make the squares. Palmesse is crocheted together and finished with a fold over collar and a simple edging. So a very cute little, this could be what we could use that color palette for. A cute little cover up, cute little bathing suit cover up. But I think that is really cute. Cute little crochet project. Yes, these together are the perfect summer match. Agreed. Anna, I know, right? She says, I don't know which one I want between strawberry and cinnabar. I know, they're both beautiful. I agree. There are a handful of other colors that I didn't grab because maybe we didn't have a full bag. But there is a whole color palette. I mean, there's more than what I have here on the table to show you. And then the other project, this is in the running, this is in the contention for the summer top that I want to make. This is called Coraline. It takes 3 hanks, and this is done, I'm going to show you the picture here in a second, in the cinnabar color, which makes me lean towards it even more. Coraline embodies effortless summer style, pairing an airy chevron lace pattern with the gorgeous hand-dyed colors of Tilly. Knit flat in pieces from the bottom up and seamed, Coraline has a wonderful balance of soft drape and structure. Pair this top with elegant dresses, slim capris, or your favorite shorts and feel instantly put together. So I love that this is kind of a vintage inspired look. Here you can see, I think if I hold it up closer, it has a small scale lace pattern repeated throughout the whole thing. It has cute little drop shoulders, and it is slightly cropped. Now, don't let that word scare you. I know it says that it is slightly cropped, but we make our own clothes so that we can make them fit our bodies. So yes, you can lengthen it and make it longer to fit you how you want to do. So again, Coraline is in the running potentially for a summer top for me. We'll see. I have to be careful with me personally. This is my own view of my own body, right? We all have things that we're a little bit self-conscious of. I tend to have broad shoulders. Not tend, I do. I have broader shoulders. So when I make tops like this, that on a cute little slim model like that, have a sleeve that comes down a little bit further, they tend to be actually up a little bit further on me and sticking out right at shoulder height, which gives even more, brings even more attention to broader shoulders. So again, that's my own issue. I love my shoulders because I work on them quite a bit when I'm lifting weights, but I also tend to be a little bit self-conscious of that. So again, I have to think about that when I'm picking out projects, that maybe I'm this cute little slim person that doesn't have very wide shoulders. It's a sleeve that comes down a little bit further, but where would that actually hit on my body? So something to keep in mind when you're looking and shopping for garments for yourself, something to think about, right? It is cute. I know, I love it. Okay, how are we doing on time? Oh, 11:52, see? Jason's gonna shake his head and see this is what you get for waiting to leave the new yarn for last. It's okay, we can all hang out a little bit longer. All right, so this is a new yarn from BERROCO, and I am very excited about this yarn. Well, thank you, Rachel. You're very sweet. You are very sweet. Okay, so this is a yarn from BERROCO that I have been excited about since my sales rep shared that it was coming. This is called Remix Wool. So Remix is a line of yarns that BERROCO has had in their lineup for a long time. So they have taken that recycled blend of fibers and they've added a recycled wool component to it. So I wanted to read the description from BERROCO. Our enhanced blends of Remix Wool elevate the well-loved Remix series by adding cozy warmth and emphasizing sustainable fibers. These lightly tweeded shades offer depth and richness, adding a touch of sophistication to sweaters, scarves, and shawls, or whatever else you want to make. Whether you're working on classic cables, simple textures, or smooth stackinette, these versatile yarns are perfect for transitional seasons and will become wardrobe staples. So Remix Wool is the newest addition to the Remix line of yarns from BERROCO. So this yarn takes 100% recycled fibers we love from the original Remix line and add warmth through the addition of wool. So as a reminder, Remix, the original one, is all created from recycled fibers that are taken from the fashion industry pre-consumer. So this is before consumers see the fabric. So what that means is, you know, you take, say, a pair of jeans and you have this big, huge bolt of fabric, and then they cut out the shapes, you know, of the legs that later get sewn together, right? But there's all of this excess fabric that is left from the cutting out of those shapes. So all of that leftover fiber is then collected by this fiber mill, and it's torn back up into pieces, into big piles of fluff, and then it is all mixed back together again and put back into yarn form. So that is a very simplified version of the process. But there is so much leftover excess that they are able to create, the fashion industry or this mill is able to create this pretty big color palette of Remix without adding any additional dye. So this yarn is not dyed other than from the original dyeing process. So it's a very cool yarn with a really nifty history. And so that now they've taken those same fiber blends, and now they've added recycled wool into the mix. So I'm gonna leave that open because I'm gonna show you patterns after I show you guys the yarn. So let's take a look. I have right now 9 colors in stock. There are 20 colors that will be available eventually. But right now we have 9 colors in stock of Remix Wool. So let's take a look at Remix Wool. So this is now the new fiber content, 38% wool, 28% polyamide, 22% cotton, 7% acrylic, and 5% other fibers. So again, remember, they're taking fluff and bits of excess from the whole fashion industry. So that 5% other fibers, it could be linen, could be who knows what else. Remix is made in France. So that is not necessarily a hub for yarn production like we think of, like Peru or Turkey or India. This is actually created in France. So Remix wool is a worsted weight. Knitting gauge recommendation 16.5 to 18 stitches using a 7 to an 8 knitting needle and 15 to 16 single crochets to 4 inches using an H to an I crochet hook. So as you can see, as I'm holding this up, it is still that beautiful tweedy look like we love in Remix, but we've just added a little bit of wool to the mix. 100-gram ball, 216 yards, $15.95. $15.95 for 100 grams. So a really great price for a wool blend of recycled fibers. $15.95. And again, this color is, I don't have the, oh, hydrangea. This is called hydrangea. This beautiful shade of blue is called hydrangea. I have this color, Merlot. That is a gorgeous shade. This is called Merlot. And here we have that beautiful vibrant orange again, Anna. This is called Pumpkin. This is called Pumpkin. Cindy is sharing that she loves Remix, so soft and comfy, like a well-loved sweatshirt. This color is called Candy Apple. Candy Apple. So this particular color looks a little more solid. It doesn't have as much of a tweedy effect to it. It's interesting how some of them tend to look a little tweedier than others. This one is called Tea Rose. Tea Rose is one that has, I think it looks a little bit more tweedy than the other ones. So that is gorgeous. This one might be my favorite out of the 9 that I've received so far. No one will be surprised that olive green. Olive green was the first bag that I ripped open to get my hands on, which of course, again, is not surprising to anyone, but I love it. Got a gorgeous shade of blue. This is Classic Navy. Classic Navy. And here's another really dark color that doesn't really have much tweedy variation. This is called Onyx. This one is called Onyx. And then finally, our last color that we have in stock right now is called Sand. So this one is called Sand. So I did have an opportunity to knit, to create a couple of shelf swatches. Now these are unblocked so far, but this one is a knit swatch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This was knit on a size 8 needle or 5 millimeter. So you can see this one is knit up in Sand, that last color I showed you. So there it is, knit up, and again unblocked because I just knit that last night. And then I have my crocheted swatch, single crochet here again, and this one was done I think with a 6 millimeter hook, a 6 millimeter hook, so a little bigger than the label recommended, but it's what I had next to my chair when I was ready to crochet the swatch. So we shall see how it works up once how it feels once I block it, once I wash it. Yes, so there we go. That is Remix Wool. And there are some beautifully classic designs from BERROCO. There is this gorgeous set called Dorchester. This is done in, let's see, hydrangea and indigo blue. So 7 balls, that's that hydrangea blue that we saw here. And then 8 balls in a shade called indigo blue. So beautiful colors there. Here's another view. Another view here. So a beautiful cabled project here. There's a back view. What else do we have? Oh, a beautiful classic. Clean lines and uncomplicated texture make Charleston an everyday favorite sweater. The top-down raglan has a relaxed fit and a simple, seamless construction. Tweedy colors of Remix Wool add depth and interest to the stockinette project, and the palette makes it easy to find the perfect shade. So there you have it. I like that they've cropped hers just slightly to be able to tuck in and, you know, tuck in that front, show off a cute belt. But again, a fairly simple, this would be, Cindy, I think that comfy, cozy, slightly elevated sweatshirt look. And here is the little bit of a close-up of the collars. So a pretty kind of basic stitch pattern here. Then we have some pretty samples, pretty smaller projects, a couple of caps that have that beautiful same cable pattern as that sweater. So these would actually be great swatches for the sweater. You get a sense of how the yarn is working up and whether you enjoy the stitch pattern or not by making these couple of projects. And then we have a couple other projects. This is the North End Vest. North End Vest. So it is a crew neck vest with just a really simple overall knit purl texture. And I gotta go the right direction here. And then finally, they have this really pretty North End scarf. So this scarf takes 4 balls of remix wool. Remix wool. Aren't they beautiful? I love it. So again, that is the newest yarn from BERROCO called Remix Wool. That is in stock now here at the Yarn Garden. Karen, the pullover, the V-neck pullover is knit from the top down. It is a raglan style top down sweater. The cabled one, I believe, let's see, is knit from the bottom up and seamed. So it is done in pieces, which helps give the sweater a lot of structure. So because you're knitting cables with this particular blend of fibers, it can tend to be a little bit heavy. So by having seams in the sweater, that helps give the sweater a little bit of structure. So don't be scared of something that is seamed. It just helps give something a little bit of extra structure. So there we have it. That is the new yarn from BERROCO called Remix Wool. And there's that olive green that I love. I would love to knit that raglan sweatshirt out of this color. I love it. All right, my friends, that is all that I have for you. Oh, it is not. That's a lie. I have a new class that Karen and I have put our heads together and come up with for you. It is called Ravelry Projects. Let me make sure I get to the right spot so that we talk about it. I talk about it correctly. Ravelry Projects. So there were so many requests from you guys for a virtual class so that you could mark off your attend a class or event square for bingo. So Karen and I went ahead and we planned this class called Ravelry Projects. Ready to bring a little order to your creative chaos? Join us for a 1-hour virtual class on Zoom where you'll learn how to use Ravelry to organize, track, and celebrate all your knitting and crochet projects in one easy piece. We'll walk step by step through setting up project pages, adding yarn and pattern details, tracking your progress, and using Ravelry's tools to keep your whips from wandering off into forgotten baskets. So by the end of class, you'll know how to create and edit project pages, link patterns and yarn from Ravelry's database, track progress and notes as you stitch, use tags and photos to stay organized, and find past projects easily for future inspiration. So again, this is a virtual class. Everyone, of course, is welcome to hop on and hear about Ravelry. So this will give you 2 squares if you do attend, right? It will give you the attend a class or event at YG, and it will lead you to be able to check off your create project on Ravelry. So Karen is going to lead us through that 1-hour class. It is happening next Thursday, February 19th from 7 to 8. So next Thursday, February 19th from 7 to 8. Again, it is virtual. You can take this class from home, already in your comfy home clothes. Again, from 7 to 8 next Thursday, the 19th. The class fee for attending is $20. So again, you can sign up for that class now. It is available to sign up. So I'm excited to hear from Karen about creating projects on Ravelry. That is one of my goals for 2026, is to add information to Ravelry's database because I use it all the time. So I want to be able to feel good about contributing information to that database as well. So I'm excited to learn a little bit from Karen about how to add projects to Ravelry. So if you're in the same boat, make sure you check that out. Okay, that's again next Thursday, February 19th from 7 to 8. Exactly. Thank you, guys. I think it's going to be a really great learning opportunity and a quick hour to get a lot of really great information. All right, now that is all I had for you today. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. I hope you get lots of stitching done and you have lots of boxes to check off your bingo squares. All right, guys, have a great weekend and we'll see you back here again next week.